You feel like having your mind blown? If not, favorite this video, come back later. But if so, we're about to talk about something wild. What if I told you that everything you see, touch, and experience isn't actually real? At least, not in the way that you think. Scientists believe reality might be more like a hallucination, something your brain creates. And quantum physics might actually back this up. So, your brain isn't just seeing the world, it's actually predicting it. Neuroscience shows that what you experience isn't raw reality, but it's your brain's best guess based on electrical signals and past experiences. So, in other words, what you call reality is just your mind's version of it. And here's where it gets even weirder. Quantum physics suggests that reality doesn't actually exist in a fixed state until we observe it. There's a famous experiment called the double slit experiment. It proves that particles act like waves until we look at it. And the second we observe them, they choose a definite form. So what's that mean? Well, the act of looking might literally be creating the reality, kind of like a dream that only forms when you enter it. Now, if everything we see is just a mental construction, and if quantum mechanics suggests that the universe renders based on observation, some physicists believe that we might be living in a simulation. I know you've heard that. So think about that. What if our reality is coded, like a video game almost, and it only renders what's needed when someone is looking? So if reality is just a projection and the universe only exists when we observe it, what does that mean for free will? Are we creating reality or just experiencing an illusion? Let me know what you think about that, because this kind of changes everything.
You're living an illusion in this life. To live a life is you look at your hands, you look at your body, and you go out of the house. You do the steps. You do what makes your body sweat. You breathe in the air. You have physical contact with people. You talk face to face with people. This is living life. The other thing is sad.
You're not living in physical reality. And I'm going to break this down by breaking down the construct of time. So when you think about tomorrow, whenever you have thought about a future occurrence, yesterday, you probably thought about what you were going to do tomorrow. Like, oh yeah, I got to do this tomorrow, I got to do this. You were planning your day. And it felt, when you think about certain things, you have a beautiful mind that can picture future occurrences. So you're thinking about this, and then it's like, damn, when you meet the moment, and you're in tomorrow, does it feel like tomorrow? Or does it just feel like the same fucking present moment that you've been experiencing your entire life? Because when you're in the moment, you're like, oh yeah, tomorrow, this and that. It feels like, oh, it's something, a day that I'm gonna meet. And then the day comes and it's like, oh, this feels just like every other day. Because there is no separation. That is an illusion. And I wanna talk about the consistency of thoughts. When you think about something that's gonna happen in the future, you feel this thought form. You feel this reality that doesn't exist, but it exists in your head. The future. To think about a future occurrence, you picture it in your mind. You think about it. That's where anxiety comes from, because a lot of people cling to these pictures of the future. Trauma is from clinging to these pictures of the past. Because truly the future and the past is all in your mind. Meaning, what are you looking at right now if everything that I just said was in the past? Everything that I just said for the past 1 minute and 45 seconds is all in the mind now. So is this moment in the mind right now too? It is. The 3K you just snapped, the only way you can think about that 3K is in the mind. Because this entire time you thought you were in physical reality. It's all up here. None of it is physical. It's physical for a pint of a second, and then it's a memory. It was never physical because seconds don't exist. All is now. There is no physical fucking reality. You're in the future right now. You're in the past right now. When you first watched this video, You were watching to see what 3K was going to lead up to say in the future. Does it feel like the future right now since you started watching this video, or is it just right now? Do you remember the first word I said in the beginning of this video? Or is it just a memory that's lost? So was it ever truly physical in the first place? I be trying my hardest to remind you that this is a dream. And I'm not somebody on TikTok. Fuck TikTok. I'm not somebody on TikTok trying to awaken you and remind you and give you some spiritual. I am a projection of your consciousness. When you go to sleep and you have dreams, everything, the corner of the room, the people you talk to, the streets, the dogs, the birds, the sky, the monsters, they're all in your mind projecting an experience, and you think it has an on and off switch when you wake up out the bed. You are still dreaming. Everything that I have said so far in this video is in the past. You think you're looking at 3K knowledge right now. I have fucking put a caption on this video and posted it. I am no longer right here talking. This video is probably old. You're probably watching this late as fuck right now. But you're not, because you're watching it right now. Time doesn't exist. The physical doesn't exist. You're floating in a beautiful experience of consciousness right now. As I look at you right now with this beautiful face, I cannot see my own face. You can see it, I can't. And by you, Neverse, I'm talking to myself, which is you. Because you on the other end that is looking at my face, quite coincidentally, you can't see your face right now either. So me and you, while we're looking at each other right now, I can't see my face, you can't see your face. Who are we? If we're both aware of the humans. Look at my mouth as I talk. Isn't this stupid? This is the weirdest. What the fuck is this? But for some reason, I'm using these bitches to communicate. This might have took a weird turn, but me pinching my lip, that nigga no longer exists. You are dreaming, my love. This is a dream. And I can pinch my lips and move my eyes around and do all this just to break the structure of this storyline that you're going on that's keeping you so attached to this beautiful, temporary dream.
I hate when people ask me what's wrong, because it's not like you can say I'm in an existential crisis due to the fact that I'm painfully aware of everything that's going on and how absurd and nonsensical it all is. Meanwhile, all these sheep are blissfully walking through life with no issues, while I'm deeply conscious, which is causing all my suffering. Meanwhile, I'm trying to find purpose in it all. So instead, I just say nothing.
How have we normalized existence so much that we don't even talk about it anymore? Because if you really think about it, existence is the strangest thing imaginable. You wake up, or you woke up this morning inside of a body with thoughts, memories, emotions, and the ability to experience what we call reality, and somehow we treat that like it's normal. But it isn't. Nobody truly knows what consciousness is. Nobody truly knows why anything exists at all. Not why you're here, not why awareness exists, not why reality is even happening. Yet most of us spend our entire lives never stopping to think about it. We wake up, we go to work, we scroll on our phones, we worry about small problems, while standing inside the greatest mystery that could possibly exist. The fact that you are aware right now, able to hear these words, able to experience anything at all, is unbelievably strange. And maybe we've normalized it so much that we stopped appreciating it. But existence itself should still fill you with wonder.
You ever notice life don't feel real no more? Everybody's staring at screens. Everybody mentally exhausted. Everybody rushing. Everybody distracted. Everybody surviving. But nobody really living. People don't even randomly pull up to each other's houses no more. Kids barely outside no more. Families eat together less. Neighbors don't know neighbors. Everybody connected online, but disconnected in real life. That's crazy. And what's scary is, this new generation, they think this shit is normal. Meanwhile, years flying by so fucking fast, people don't even realize they're getting older. That's why so many people feel empty now. Humanity slowly traded real experiences for digital ones. Digital friends, digital money, digital love, digital attention, digital validation. And deep down, a lot of people can feel something missing, but can't explain what it is.
Okay, so tell me if I'm the only one that feel this way. But do this shit feel real, y'all? Like, does this feel real to y'all? It's just like something's different. Like the timeline has just really sped up. The time is not even time no more because right now it's 8:35, but it just feels like it's nothing. Like nothing doesn't feel like nothing anymore. Like food don't even taste the same. The stuff that I used to love to enjoy, I don't even like it anymore. The people not real. Like I can instantly come in contact with somebody and tell they're not real. Like, nah, man, you're an NPC. You don't even have a soul behind those eyes, some type stuff. But it don't seem real, y'all. I don't know. Like, I already said that I believe we live in a simulation, but the simulation is glitching or something. Like, this shit don't feel real. I just feel like I'm waking up like the Truman Show. I'm just waking up doing the same stuff on a daily, like, and it's not exciting. Nothing really excites me anymore. Like, what the fuck? I don't know.
None of this is real. None of it. The whole thing is an illusion, and it's being projected from within you out. This is your dream. This is a simulation. It's an illusion. So all your problems, all of your dilemmas, all your trials and tribulations are just that, illusions that you can change at any time. When you reframe your mindset, knowing that this is just a video game, it's just a simulation, and that everything can be changed in the blink of an eye by shift in perspective, do you have true freedom to command reality at will?
Reality is an illusion. We live inside of a holographic simulation that is controlled by our thoughts and emotions. This isn't crazy talk. It's agreed upon in the scientific community that reality is a controlled hallucination. Internalize this information. You're not inside your head looking out. Your eyes are not windows. You're not inside reality. As consciousness, you are literally the vibrating energy field. You're the fabric of reality itself. In our dualistic mode of consciousness, where we believe there's a subject and an object, a viewer and a thing being viewed, know that whatever you're looking at does not have an independent existence. You create everything that you see right now. Like I said, the eyes are not windows. Your sensory receptors receive information. Our sensory receptors then transform the environmental physical energy into electrical energy in the nervous system. Sensory information is sent to higher cortices of the brain. The brain projects reality out and around you. You are inside your own mind. Objects themselves do not have color. The shapes and color we see, it's our brain creating an illusion for us to properly function in. Time is also an illusion. Nothing other than a conscious observer registers the flow of time. The flow of time is subjective, meaning personal to your view. This video I made represents how we view reality, one thing happening after another. Human beings experiencing time in a linear motion, it's an illusory piece of human psychology our brains develop to make sense of things. Every moment from that video exists right now. It's all now, meaning it can be viewed backwards. We live in one big moment with everything happening right now. So the purpose of me making this video is because once you let go of your dualistic, egotistical, finite view of reality, you finally give your mind the power to manifest whatever you want to because you're literally in your fucking thoughts. Think of the universe as a big-ass mind. You are this mind. You just experience it through the filter of you once you open your eyeballs. Your thoughts and emotions send out waves that ripple across the entire universe. And they come back to you in the form of conditions and circumstances in your life. You are what you think. Your subconscious mind, the 95% of you that you're not aware of, is the thing that governs your entire experience of reality. The most powerful ways to program it, 2 different techniques, scripting and visualization. It's better to imagine it, but if you can't imagine, just write. Get you some noise canceling headphones, block out external stimulus. Turn on some meditation music. You will literally feel like you're living in that experience. Stay in that mental and emotional state. And watch the dominoes in your life fall around you.
This is what we all want to know. Why are they still trying to take what we have left of reality? Why are they trying to take reality away from us? It seems like no matter what, you always thought you could count on reality.
Now, hi, it's me again. Welcome to the Sunblood Network, home where you can be taught the technology of your mind and body. Okay? This is your host, you know what I'm saying? And with that being said, we're going to get into this great live right here. You know what I'm talking about? Now, right, I wanted to have a conversation where we speak about, you know, reality and what is happening. And why do some people feel that fakeality is no longer real? See, a lot of us has been taught that we are all within reality, right? I'm going to show you something in the inside. Now, if you see that these students right here, they lighten you with certain forms of information and data, right? Remember, they said everything starts in here. Then it get projected out here, right? Then you get to view what you want, right? Now, just taking that, right? What you have to understand is what they said in the video that I just showed was that your perception of reality starts in here, right? Okay, can I ask you a question? If you have, let's say, you have a power to create your own reality, right? And let's just say that the information and data that you eat, that you call food, right, could that information and data, right, that is being sent to your vessel and also your mind, could the information and data of that food alter your reality? You understand? So we can all say, you know, we are in reality, but the technology of the mind, right? Once it receives information and data, right, that information and data will be used, extracted, whatever the case may be, okay? And for some people, right, they say all the time that you create your reality within here. You project it out here, which is very truthful. The thing is that if you take 10 people, right, and you take the technology of their minds and their bodies, and you give them something similar as in artificial ingredients. Artificial ingredients, right, stands for AI. Artificial, A, ingredients, I, okay? And what you have to understand is that the artificial ingredients is a majority inside of all the food products that you pretty much damn near eat besides nature. Notice that, okay? And so, if you wanted to put people inside of an artificial civilization, right, what you had to do is you had to stimulate the mind. Stimulation. What you had to do is you had to stimulate the mind, right, with forms of information and data that cannot identify as itself, but it will identify as something as artificial, okay? Now, If we intake artificial ingredients, and like I had said, if you take 10 people and you put them, right, that way you can understand what's going on. Let's say you take 10 people, right, and you do a study on them, where basically you give them information and data that come from the planet, as in something that's produce. Produce comes down to intelligence. Produce actually produces the intelligence of the mind and the body, okay? Food is not food no more. Food is information and data now, okay? Now, let's say you take 10 people, right? You give them all natural information and data, right? And when you give them natural information and data, right? In this reality, they are acting as self, okay? Okay. Now, let's record them for a day. Let's say a month, right? Now, when that is operating into reality, they're into reality because the information and data aligns with reality. Do you understand? It's all natural. It aligns with reality. A lot of people are getting confused with reality and fakeality. Fakeality comes down to, remember how most people say, it seems like we in a simulation, and it seems like the simulation is not real, right? What it is some people think that, everything on the outside is not a reflection on the inside. And so what happened was, in order to stimulate these minds, in order to get them into a system outside of reality, which would be fakeality. You understand? And so what happens is, in order to create a world like that, what you need to do is you have to infiltrate the technology of the minds with information and data that the body, the mind, cannot identify with. And let me show you what I mean. When it comes down to artificial ingredients, right? Those artificial ingredients does not identify with the information and data of the body when it comes to your vitamin code system or your mineral code system. It don't suffice in none of that. So it's basically what it's doing is, what you have to understand is that the information and data is already unlining the body. So it would definitely unline the mind. And when it unline the mind, basically what you are being brung into consciously or unawarely is that you're being brung to another world that's being installed within the technology of your mind and body. The technology in mind and body also has an ability to hold information and data, okay? So if your body holds artificial ingredients, you're in an artificial simulation. You're not into reality of that. The reason why it is because the technology of the eyes, right, are like, they project reality based on the reality that's in the inside of you, okay? So what you have to understand in this present moment, some people are going to say, it seems like life is not real. And it seems like things like we in a stimulation. And I would simply agree with them. The only thing I would add to them is that you cannot break out of the stimulation. You can't break out of it. The reason why you can't break out of it is because the technology of your body is technology. That's what you have to understand. Most people can't break out of it, and the reason why that is because the information and data that your body holds, right, is the information and data that's being transferred to your mind. Your mind holds the information and data of an artificial reality based on the artificial ingredients that you eat. You understand? So if I can take people, more than half of the population, and then install them in the hardware of their vessel, right, with the software that you will call food, that literally will program the mind, okay, will program the mind into another world than the world that's in front of it. Do you understand? So most people are not installed with the information and data to be into reality, okay? So what you have to understand is, what is the informational sources that human beings are eating from in order to know what type of reality or fakeality that they're into. Okay? So that's the biggest thing. I'm watching a lot of knowledge from people, and a lot of people are not understanding certain things even when they speak. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that their knowledge is less than, not at all, because just by listening to some of their knowledge, I understand certain things with myself as well. You know what I'm saying? So, most people say they want to break out, this stimulation. And what I always say to them is that, in order to break out of a stimulation, what you have to understand is that the technology of your mind is being stimulated with information and data. Okay? Now, how can you break out of something, right? If you keep feeding your consciousness, your mind, the technology of your body, right, the same program. What you have to understand is that when it comes to like food, you have been taught one way and I have been taught another. Okay? What you have to understand with your intelligence when it comes to food is that you will label everything as food, right? Does that give you perfect clarity to understand what you are eating? For the third dimensional, yes, you will have no choice but to agree. But what you have to understand is in your practices of teaching of what you have obtained from other people, not through yourself, what you have to understand is that when I say what you are eating is food, I'm basically stonewalling the information to you. That's what I would be doing. That way you don't know. You look at everything as like one word, right? And I'm not saying that you can't do that. I'm not saying that you can do that, but pretty much whoever taught you that stonewall information and data of knowing to you. That's what I'm teaching you. I'm not saying that you have to let go that way, but if you understand what stonewalling is, it means that it's keeping you away from information and data to know. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So how I kind of look at food today is all information and data. And, a lot of people are saying that, today, bro, I don't feel like it's real. And I understand what they mean by that. What you have to understand is that the technology of your body is the hardware. The things that you put in, entertainment, food, that's the software. Okay? So let me ask you a question when it comes to this whole thing. Imagine you trying to break out of a stimulation, right? But you may be unaware that technically you are the one that's putting yourself in the stimulation. What do I mean by that? As in, let me show you. You see a computer, right? Now, when you have a computer, that's the hardware, right? Now, there's software that you can put into the hardware of the computer. What happened if I started putting nothing but viruses inside the hardware of the computer? What you think is going to happen with the mind? With the computer, it's going to have a virus. So pay attention. You have two informational sources when it comes to food. You have produce that produces the intelligence of the body and the mind. And you also have another informational source that we call food, but it comes down to a lot of artificial ingredients. Now, what you have to understand is that when it comes to natural tech and artificial tech, they have an effect upon the body. They have an effect upon perception. They have an effect upon your whole reality as a whole. Okay? So let me show you what happens. I can take 95% of people. I'm gonna bring that up a little bit more. I could take 95% of people, and what happens is once you decalcify their pineal gland when they were children, what happens is the information and data from the right brain that's supposed to direct the left mind, it is offline. Okay? Now what happens is what's online is the left mind. The left mind is like a baby. You don't really know anything. It can only be really pretty much taught, either with a system or the system of natural self. That's one of the two options. So what happens is in this situation is that you have the hardware of your vessel. You have also the software of whatever you eat. Now, when you're trying to break out of something, right? What do most people do? What's the most thing that you can do when you're trying to break out of something? Find out where it stimulates from. Thank you. That's what you want to do. It's not most people are like, I can break out the stimulation It ain't nothing to break out of. Do you have the keys? What I'm saying is, in order to break out of something, did you properly diagnose where the problem is coming from? See? The first thing is to bypass yourself and to look at other people in the world and say, it's this, when in all reality, that's not what it is. What happens is that we all experiencing collectively is that whenever we eat or install information and data of an artificial ingredient, what we have to understand consciously is that this artificial information and data is altering your reality. It is installing, right, artificial information. The technology of your body is a holder to that information and data. So if everyone say consciously, it seems like we're living in a fake world. Of course we're living in a fake world, because in order for a fake world to exist, the technology of your body, your mind, has to be informed in order to live within it. So with that being said, when you're trying to break out of something in life or stimulation, what it really stimulates to is the information and data that your body holds. It doesn't stimulate from nothing else. It really stimulates from what you are holding on to and why the mind plays it repeatedly over and over. So what people have to understand is that if you go to the top and you pay attention to, I guess they call these guys the FDA, right? They're changing certain things because they understand consciously that they can't say to the people is that the information and data that they're switching and swapping out, they understand consciously like, yeah, we pretty much gave people artificial ingredients, modified starches, and things that come with no natural GMOs, right? And man-made GMOs, because these systems knew something higher than what the people know. The people didn't know that they were technology. The people didn't understand the technology of the vessels at all. They didn't understand that. But the people that are higher up, they knew. And this is the reason why they installed an artificial reality within everybody, from birth until even when you was inside the womb. All the information and data, right, stimulates from birth all the way up until now. And what you have to understand is one of the most important things about the body, the mind, is that it will hold on to information and data based on what you install. So class eats, you understand? So I'm just kind of adding some more knowledge to people, because pretty much what I'm seeing is a head title where a lot of people are stuck in illusion. And pretty much what I'm basically showing you is the illusion is installed in the hardware of the mind based on the software that you downloaded. Okay? You have to be, how can I say this in simple terms? You have to, in this new world that we in, we even had to obtain a higher tongue. We have to. It's like when I'm speaking right now, what you're seeing is a projection from a reality that it can't understand. You're receiving a projection from fakeality to reality. Even though I'm speaking in English, you'll notice the individual that's at the bottom, the technology of their consciousness can't keep up in this conversation. Usually, the minds connect based on the intelligence that you have already installed. Thank you. So it's like this, right? For the average person, they don't install intelligence within their conscious. That's their choice. But I choose to do the same thing. So I'm gonna show you. Let's just say I have a conversation with you, right? And my conscious is pretty much on like knowledge, right? Let's say your conscious is not really on to that. What happens is we can never connect consciously. The reason why we can't connect consciously is because the conversations, right, and also the information and data that's within my conscious, right, it has nothing to do and identify with your conscious. You could be into BET, I can be into the animal planet station. See what I'm saying? So it's just like this. Let's say you into BET, right? Or let's say you into SpongeBob, right? Can I ask you a question? how are you able to remember BET or SpongeBob? As lower conscious, you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know that. You will only tell me words. You couldn't break it down to yourself even though you're doing it. You understand what I'm saying? So what you have to understand is that we have individuals that are here. They don't understand the hardware of their vessels. They don't understand the hardware of their mind. But the one thing that they love to do with the hardware of their vessel and their mind is they like to use it for the lower things in consciousness, and not actually understanding the technology of their own memory bank became a lower conscious in order to project lower conscious. See what I'm saying? And it's okay, because for me, how I look at it as is, if that's what they chose, I'm gonna watch. As I watch, I get to understand the information and data of a lower conscious and where it leads itself to. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, or whatever the case may be, that's how I just be looking at certain things. I understand with lower conscious, it will always be upset with higher conscious because lower conscious seems still like it can't obtain higher consciousness. You understand what I'm saying? So a lower conscious is stuck at this level. And I'm not making fun of it. I'm just showing you the level that you are at, okay? A lower conscious is stuck in a civilization where, what are you eating? I'm eating food. There you go. Can I ask you a question? What is your body doing with the food? It's digesting it, which you have to understand that these are two different consciousnesses of two different dimensions based on the information and data that they both hold. Understand? So the third dimensional one, you're eating, right? You're eating. That's really great. You eat food too, don't you? That's really great too. Let me see what else I can identify with. You eat food. I understand that. I get it. So from the third dimension of consciousness, it's not giving you proper intelligence of what you're doing in reality. Pretty much, third dimensional consciousness is really kind of stonewalling you from higher. I'm just showing you. When you say food, great. FOOD, I understand. But what is inside the food? Understanding as a third dimensional conscious, you may not question. So I'm trying to show you something so you can get to know. You know what I'm saying? So, right? When it comes to hardware of the vessel, hardware of the mind, right? First thing you have to always understand is that the things that you intake, including as TV or, anything, it really come down to the software. Your body is really the hardware. And a lot of people, they are like, let's say some people, they speak and they like, yo, I want to break out this stimulation. I'm just like, you ain't gonna really break out of it. You can't really break out of it. No, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying that, hear me out. But for the average, I'm not discouraging you. I'm just telling you, like, you gotta have a technological mind to break out of that shit. And if you have the mind from the third dimension, I'm not trying to tell you that you can't do it, but third dimensional minds don't break out of shit, baby. Unfortunately, I'm just trying to show you that. Third dimensional minds don't break out of things. They really kind of stay within the third dimension because that's the only thing that the conscious knows. You understand what I'm saying? The conscious of like humans, they only kind of go based on what they know. They're not trying to get to know something different. They only go based on what happened in elementary school up until now. So the third dimensional conscious is pretty much just stuck. Do you understand? Based on the information and data that it installs in the hardware of its vessel and the hardware of its mind. That's what you have to understand. The third dimension is thinking that it's eating, right? Not actually understanding that you're not eating anything, you're installing information and data. The technology of your body is a holder of information and data. That's what you have to understand. So remaining in the third dimension is just going to keep you pretty much trapped. The logic of the third dimension is going to keep you pretty much trapped. The mindset of the third dimension is just going to keep you stuck in the third dimension. And what happened is within this conscious dream, you will get to view higher consciousness, But sometimes what happens is when you stuck in the system, right? Usually what happens is when you see a higher conscious, it'll give you a message, right? But it's really solely up to you to follow that message. It's not designed to pull you up, pull you out. That's all self inner work. You know what I'm saying? That's all self inner work. I can give you a message, you can take it, and then you fly with it. Hey, that's your choice. That's what's up. I'm happy for you. But you did it, not me. I just gave you the message and you took it and you went with it. And sometime in life that happens. We get a message and we be like, I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna change my life. You understand? But 95% of people, they cannot do that. There's only about maybe 5 to 1% of people that can honestly, consciously do that. You understand? 95% of this whole thing, about, I would say 95%, is not going to break out of the old world. The old world is not on the outside of you. It's a projection of what's on the inside of you. So let me show you. What happens if we have a world where you're not allowed to eat artificial ingredients in order to download an artificial reality within you, and you project it and you get to play in it? This is how deep this is. Remember, this is the first time you ever seen me. Remember, you never talked to me before. Remember, the technology of your mind doesn't have any memories for me. Okay? So what I'm saying to you is that it seems as though like a lot of people are screaming to get out this old world. And what I can say is that in order to walk away from an old world, you have to uninstall the information and data from an old world. And you have to now override the information and data with the new world. So what you have to understand is that some people say, it's like my thoughts are cloudy. It's because the information and data that your body is holding is cloudy. That's what it comes down to. Everybody wasn't taught that the technology of their body was technology. Everybody was taught from the third dimension that your body is just a word. How does that bring you into understanding what your body is? Then you have a conscious that's in front of you that can break down the functionality of your conscious, the functionality of how things function naturally. But the past self is in front of your future self. Are you at least open to actually receive an upgrade to save your higher self? Your higher self is already saved, though. Where do your lower self go at? Where do your higher self go at? You don't know. You don't know. You know, some consciousness designed themselves as a lower self, and if they understood what they self, like, shit, you really went through lower self to obtain your higher self. Sometimes we go through things that we say are bad in order to get to greatness. But how are we ever going to get to greatness if we keep installing the same system in the hardware of our vessels? And we keep letting the same system playing through our eyes. And we thinking it's real. And we thinking like, this is how we thinking. We thinking like, it's these rich people that's doing this, and it's like, nah, it ain't really like that. First thing is to blame everything on the outside. That is a great practice, because you'll never have the keys to the inside. Okay? Always remember when you get in the car, right? You got a key for the inside, you got a key for the outside. But when you pay attention to the car, if you don't have the key for the inside, guess what happens? We ain't going nowhere. That's the same thing when it comes to your logic, your mind, your spirit, your soul. If you're not understanding the keys and the information and data that you are putting inside your body and the hardware of your vessel, then you can't understand nothing that's on the outside. If you can't understand what you're inputting in the inside, you cannot understand any perception that's on the outside. If you can't honestly understand consciously, like, hold on, our bodies are hardware. The things that we are eating is the software. That's a key that 95% of people are going to fight themselves on. And the reason why that is because the left side of the mind doesn't have no understanding. Once it is taught from, 0 to about 18, it's set. It's set. The minute that I come with a higher form of information and data, pay attention to the third dimensional mind. You'll understand with yourself, like, damn, you're right, bro. Like, it cannot be taught no more. It is over. The left side of the mind, literally, is stuck in a program. And you would think that the program on the outside of us, it's not on the outside of us, bro. The program has been installed within us in order to operate within a program world. You understand what I'm saying? Consciousness literally illuminate the whole world. It's not on the outside. We really be thinking like this shit on the out, like it's in the inside. Imagine if all the buildings that surround you, right, is literally downloads to your conscious based on the information that you download to your conscious, bro. What I'm saying to you is this, pay attention. Let's say you eat some artificial ingredients that came around, let's say a late year, let's say 1954, right? Those artificial ingredients was created around 1954. That's the year that it was designed. Can I ask you a question? If I give you these artificial ingredients, right, and I install it inside your consciousness, and then the technology of your eyes project the artificial reality, are you in reality? See, a lot of people saying this. Why is it, bro? Why does it feel like everything fake, bruh? Why does it feel like, because people getting this confused. They thinking that reality is like leaving them. No. Fake-ality is leaving you. That's what's happening. What you think was real was never real. It was based on the artificial information and data that you installed into the hardware of your vessel, and the technology of your mind is projecting that information and data through your very eyes. It's in the inside. I told you, I'm not doubting people, but 95% of people are not going to understand that, even though I break it down to you as easy as I can. 95% of people are not going to understand that. They're going to look at it like, that's not real. Everything else on the outside, and people be building up. They're going to fight themselves. Okay? So what I tell you is pretty much a key to what a lot of people are really going through. I was just kind of like looking at some videos, really minding my own business, but I kind of seen some people where it's like, damn, it look like they need some help down there. And I'm going to say this. These people that I seen in these videos, I started to understand like they got a conscience that's very like mine. They starting to understand certain things, but they need a little key on them, don't they? Yeah. So I said, you know what? They were talking about many different things, like, reality doesn't seem like it's real. It seemed like there's something that's trying to cover, I'm gonna show you something too. A lot of people were saying this too. They was like, it seemed like we live in two different universes at one point in time. And the distraction that they want to keep a lot of people in is like different machines that's on the outside of you. The reason why they keep you distracted to that is because they don't want you to pay attention to the technology of you. Thank you. They're going to hit you with, I'm going to show you what they're going to hit you with. They're going to hit you with, I'm going to show you, watch what I say, and you're going to be like, Damn, bro, that's kind of deep. I'm gonna show you. Most people, they're gonna get you confused with certain machines. Let's go with the popular pick. Let's say something like CERN, right? Why you think they talking about that machine right now? Why you think they talking about that? Oh, well, bro, it say right here that the machine got cut off and it's gonna be off for 4 years. Maybe the CERN was actually an alternate reality. That's just what they want your conscious to be at, baby. They want your conscious to be focused on that machine and not the technology that you are already in. Thank you. Think about it. If I get your conscious to distract, pay attention. If I get your conscious distracted where you like, yeah, it's this CERN machine, it probably project things in our reality, it's this machine. Not actually understanding that was designed in order for you not to pay attention to the technology of your inner self, if you ask me. Your conscious, pay attention to the upgrades of your conscious right now. The knowledge in your conscious is specifically about CERN, okay? Now pay attention. If I sit here and make a machine, right, and I tell you, pay attention, I tell you this machine alters reality, and it does this, and it does this, and it does this. All I'm doing is taking a machine, building a belief system within you, because you believe in it, don't you? The people that own the CERN machine is the one that taught you about it. Why would someone do that? You think that's normal? So I'm a build a machine that actually does things, right? And everybody believe into it. But no one didn't understand in that moment, y'all all were being taught. All of you. So, is CERN actually real? Because what I'm starting to understand with myself consciously is that if I project reality, right, then why am I looking at a machine that I think is doing the same thing that I'm doing? Right, slow down. If this is my reality, right, what is altering my reality? Oh, what's altering your reality is your own mind, based on the information and data that you install within it. If you install information and data that is artificial, you are going to be within an artificial stimulation, which is very identical to fakeality. What's starting to happen consciously is that some people are pulling themselves away from sweeteners, sugar. Some people are pulling themselves away from artificial ingredients, modified starches. Some people are pulling themselves away from man-made GMOs and not understanding that when you make that conscious decision, what's starting to happen is the old information and data from a past world, right, being that you're not installing it, right, what are you thinking is happening with your body? Your body's extracting it. And what extraction means is basically, poop it, piss it out, spit it out, sweat it out. That's what happens. When you go through those natural processes, the technology of the mind and the body is letting go of the information and data from a past world that's already installed within you. Understand? In order to be in the past, I have to remind your mind of the past. So your mind would need the information and data in order to operate as the past. Thank you. Now, let's go over here. When it comes towards what's at the top, number 47, he knows something a little bit more than the citizens know. He understands that, Mr. 47, he looks at the red dyes. He looks at the artificial ingredients, and Mr. 47 is agreeing and saying that, yeah, this stuff needs to be deleted. Because he understands what most people are fighting him on, and a lot of people is not going to say this in front of him. Most people are only fighting against number 47 is because number 47 is bringing in a new world. What's happening in front of us that we don't understand is that everyone is installed, the hardware of your vessel is installed with past information and data. If I take 95% of consciousness, right, and I install you with an artificial ingredient, which is artificial information and data, it will only do this, alter your reality and keep you where I want you to be at, which is I want you to fight number 47. These are not your self-decisions. They're not your self-decisions. You can tell yourself that, no, these are my self-decisions. These are not your self-decisions. Because if I uninstall you from the information and data that's in the hardware of your vessel, which is not natural information and data, artificial information and data, let's see how you will act now. So 95% of people are stuck inside of an artificial reality based on the artificial information and data that is downloaded in the hardware of your vessel. That's why you're stuck there, okay? And you know, you could possibly get yourself out, but pay attention. When it comes towards your habits, right? We all have a habit where we feed ourselves. That's a natural habit. We have to do that, okay? Have your habits became subconsciously? Is it subconsciously to now pick up an artificial ingredient? Is it subconsciously okay to pick up an artificial soda? So, if you can't control your movement of what you pick up, then you don't have control. If you can't simply obtain a new habit and override your old habit, how are you going to break out? How are you going to break out of something if you have a label? And I'm going to show you something where a lot of people have seen this message, but have not said it to them consciously. Why is it that when you go out into a garden, right? Everything that's within the garden is not labeled. It's not. When you go inside of a garden and you see everything that's green, I'm not talking about your garden that's in the back of your yard. I'm talking about a garden where you see fruits, plums, everything. Nothing is labeled. The technology of your mind has been taught to label things, but anyone can see that Mother Nature didn't label nothing. So why are we labeling the information and data that she gave us? She didn't label it, and she's the creator of it. She didn't label it. It's the reason why she didn't label things. It's the reason why she didn't follow the code of humans. She understood something. If you label something, guess what happens? It's just that. That's just what it is. Now pay attention to these two worlds. When it comes to Mother Nature and the information and data of her, nothing is labeled. What happened was humans started labeling things. But when you speak to Mother Nature, nothing is labeled. Nothing, okay? Now, let's pay attention to these two worlds. When you go inside of a grocery store, I want you to pay attention to worlds, right? There's many worlds of information and data inside the grocery store, okay? When you go to a place called a store, what you have to understand is that the store is storing information and data. That's why they call it a store, because it's storing information and data, okay? Like a hard drive. It's storing information and data so you can keep it, okay? That's what a store is, okay? Now, what you have to understand is when you go inside the store, there are many information resources that you can choose from that you call food, okay? Now, what happens is this. When you first walk in, pay attention. When you first walk in, what are you met with? Produce. Why is it that with most grocery stores, you're met with produce first? Why is that? That's in the forefront. Let's pay attention to the technology of your mind. Your memory bank goes right past the produce. How do I know that? I'm not sitting next to you. How I know that? It's subconsciously what you do. Okay? Now, next. Right? When you go past the produce, right? The reason why you're going past the produce is because the technology of your body and your mind has an ability to search for information and data. Why do you think you're going to the store? What do you think you're doing? I'm just going grocery shopping. No, the technology of your mind is searching for the information and data that has already been installed, setups. That's what's going on. You're not grocery shopping. You're searching for information and data inside the store. Okay? You're only searching for the information and data that you recently put within your vessel. Remember I was talking about habits? How you going to break out of a habit? How? How? You're doing the habit right inside the store. How you going to break out of that? How? Show me. I ain't saying you can't. Show me. We waiting. Now, let's get into this. Do you understand that when it comes to the hardware of the vessel, right? What you have to understand is that, can I ask you a question? If you have a natural vitamin code system, right? And a natural mineral system, right? You have a natural vitamin code system that holds what? Vitamins. You have a mineral code system that holds what? Minerals. Can I ask you a question? Is there any type of way that I can infiltrate both of those systems? You would say no, right? Okay, we're gonna go through the footage, and then that there we'll make a decision, okay? Pay attention. Let's say, right, you have a natural vitamin code system, mineral code system. What you have to understand is that if the technology of your body requests for vitamins and minerals, and the technology of your mind bypass the signal that you were sent, and let's say you say, I don't want nothing that's natural. What you got to do is you going to install, guess what? Artificial ingredients. Every year, every month that you do that, what it's going to do is it's going to override the mind. And then after that, it's going to infiltrate your vitamin code system and mineral code system. The reason why I'm saying infiltration is because are you feeding your vitamin code system and mineral code system in order for the technology of your body to be up? Your mind? No, you're not. So what happens is the technology of artificial ingredients is the more you install it in the hardware of your vessel, the more and more the technology of the mind requests for it. Now, what happens is, as many times as you have done it, it has become subconsciously. Subconsciously, you're not going to read about what you're eating because everything is labeled as food. Thank you. So, subconsciously, right, your subconscious is doing this stuff as well. Because as the mind, you programmed it. That's what you did. So when people say, I want to break out of this old world and I want to get out of this stimulation, I hear what you say. I'm not saying that you can't do it. I want you to do it. But based on all the facts that I just said, are you able to switch your inputs? Are you able to switch that? Because if you can't, you're stuck. So when it comes down to the hardware of your vessel, be very careful. Be very careful what you're doing to the hardware of your vessel, because what can happen is it can become infiltrated. And if it becomes infiltrated and you're not consciously aware to stop the infiltration, it can now become subconsciously now. And that's where the battle becomes very hard to fight. Because subconsciously it's like, oh, this is on autopilot. Oh yeah, we do this all the time. Yeah, we good. Like, you got to be careful with yourself. Got to be real careful. Okay? Got to be real careful. You know what I'm saying? I know for some people, they're like, bro, that was a deep dive. Something that y'all probably needed. I'll go back and do it again. But ultimately, what I would simply say is make sure that you are protecting the hardware of your vessel. Make sure that you're protecting the hardware of your mind. Because a lot of people within this reality have been completely infiltrated. And they're trying their best to come back, but I'm not going to say it ain't no hope. All I would say is that third dimensional character of what you became, that's going to make sure it's staying in your way every time. That's all I'm going to say. Because the third dimensional character that you became, understand that, let's go over here to the Oracle. What she said, what she said, yeah, you know, in this world, right, you know, pretty much they try to make you into something you're not. And you got to understand it consciously. You understand what I'm saying? So what you have to understand, the third dimensional character that you are, it doesn't want to be wiped out. It doesn't. It doesn't want to let go. It's not going to let go of you. You're going to have to physically, spiritually, literally delete it out the hardware of your vessel. Because it's going to keep fighting. Because it understands that the third dimensional character is not the real you. It knows that. It already knows that already. So it's like having a program within you and that don't want to be deleted. Like Mr. Smith, he don't want to be deleted. He's a third dimensional character. The reason why I say he's a third dimensional character, and I know some people are going to say, well, how is he a third dimensional character if he's flying? What you have to understand is he's a third dimensional character based upon this. Mr. Smith doesn't have a soul. Thank you. He only resides in the physical realms. That's it. He only resides within the digital realms. That's it. Once you destroy him and all his avatars fall down. He doesn't have a soul. He doesn't come from a natural resource. So pretty much Mr. Smith is like an old program. That's what you have to understand. He's an old program and he understands he doesn't want to be deleted. It's just like everybody else in the world. They got third dimensional characters in them, right? And they don't want to be deleted. This is why they have gotten to the subconscious, right? Infiltrated the shit and kept this shit on autopilot because they like, if I keep this on autopilot, I get to have and I get to hold this character and this conscious. That's what you have to understand, okay? So it's like a lot of people, they're not understanding that consciously that the third dimensional character that they put within your left mind, that's the character that don't want to leave. That's why when you say, let me show you this. Let me show you something with yourself. You know how you hear somebody, right? And they talking about something that you never heard of? And you know how you automatically reject that shit? The reason why you're rejecting it is because the third dimensional character that has built this life through you is only following the information and data of that old world. If it's any information and data from a new world or a higher world, it's going to automatically reject. And the reason why that is because the program doesn't want to be deleted. It needs you in order to survive. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like when you look at it from that angle, you like, damn, bro, like, yeah, it's that deep in here. It's the reason why I'm saying this right now. I've been sitting on this for a minute. I've been sitting on this for months, bro. Just been sitting on this conversation. Knowing, I know, like, yeah, this shit's super big, but I'm going to sit for a little bit just because I just want to see if the people going to catch up. And so right when I seen that people were talking about, you know, that they feel like they in a simulation, that they don't feel like reality is actually real, it's like, well, let's get to talking about it. You know what I'm saying? And so what you have to understand is that the technology of your body, right, based on the information and data that you install, it's going to project that right there is going to project it on the outside of you. To show you the reflection of what's inside of you. So you understand what I'm saying? So it's like, you like, let's say like someone trying to break out of the third dimensional realm. It's like, I'm not saying you can't do that. That's not what I'm saying. But how are you going to do that consciously if the only information and data that you install, right, is coming from the third dimension as in artificial ingredients, modified starches? This is all information and data from the third dimension to keep your technology of your mind, the hardware of your vessel, locked down to it. Locked down. This is why when people say we in blue cloak lockdown, you only on blue cloak lockdown because you installed the blue cloak lockdown with inside the technology of your body. Thank you. How could you be blue code lockdown if the code is not within you? It can't, bro. You can't project the code on the outside of somebody and it's gonna work. No, bro. It's just like looking at a screen. That's like if I put a double screen in front of you and you like, hold on, bro. What's the screen behind this? Do you see what I'm talking about? Now I'm gonna show you. Let me show you the tech because it's about to get really high tech in here, right? It's about to get real high tech in here. Now watch. Let's say you have vision. All right. We all got sight. We all can see, right? Remember what I was telling y'all a couple of months ago? I had said that everybody don't have the same vision. And what did I teach you? Based upon the information and data that you install inside the hardware, right? That information and data is projected through your eyes. Thank you. Let's just say, bro, I kid you not, pay attention to the tech. If I install you with the hardware of your vessel and the hardware of your mind, if I install you with information and data, right, that's artificial, bro, your consciousness is in an artificial reality. Thank you. Now watch this. If I sit here and take my body and my conscious and I install just natural information and data, natural tech, what's going to happen is me and you can both be looking at a building, right? And based on the information and data of you, that is artificial, and based on the information and data of me, which is natural tech, we're going to have a different perception from each other. I would tell you, yo, bro, can I ask you a question? What did it look like right there? You're going to be like, bro, that's just a building, bro. Now, from my dimension, I'm looking at it like, nah, that's not the building. The building actually got eyes, it got a mouth, it got this right here, it got this hanging out, it got this hanging out. And the reason why you can't see what I see is because the technology of your body, the technology of your mind, and the technology of your eyes are not downloaded with the same information and data as me. Thank you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So just because we standing next to each other, blood, it doesn't mean that literally we in the same situation. We not. Based on the information and data that you hold and based on the information and data I hold. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I had to actually, I've been speaking about this for a minute, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let the people catch up. I'm gonna let them catch up real quick because they had probably gotta catch up real quick. You know what I'm saying? Consciously, sometimes you gotta catch up. So now that I see that certain people catching up, I'm like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and release this right here. Okay? And so what you have to understand is that, yeah, we all in reality, but at the same time, you have also a choice to modify your system in order for you not to be in reality with me. Let me show you. Whenever you have people that eat artificial ingredients or download artificial ingredients in the hardware of their vessel, what you have to understand is that those people, majority of the time, go with their thoughts. Thank you. That's what you have to understand. Natural tech don't go off thoughts, bro. It go literally off, show me. It moved like this, it been like this, it functioned like this. That put me in a knowing. Setups, okay? So pay attention. You know how you say mind control? Pay attention to the setup so you can understand. Let's just say you say mind control is real, right? Can I ask you a question? Is mind control in a way is if everything is on repeat, but you never notice it? Is that mind control? Pay attention. Let's say I have your life on repeat for years, right? But you never notice it though. Is that mind control? Most people gonna be like, nah, that's mind control because you pretty much how you wording it is pretty much like you stuck in the same civilization every time you wake up. Thank you. That is mind control. Let me show you how it works. What happens is when it comes to mind control as well, it comes down to, some people say hypnosis, or what I like to say would be, being honest with you, how I like to speak it is pretty much like your mind is technology, but your mind also operate with information and data too. So how I look at it as is there must be some type of technology infiltration going on with your conscious based on if your conscious give access and allow that to happen. You see what I'm saying? So let's just say I say I'm gonna make burgers, right? And let's just say I put a chemical compound, right? that is very addictive. Addictions come down to a habit. Thank you. So what you have to understand when it comes towards, let's say, your fast food restaurant, what you have to understand chemically is that your body also deal with chemicals too. If I put a chemical compound, right, that registers with your body, right, and your body have many dopamines every time you hit this, every time, subconsciously is being saved too. Subconsciously, you're going to come back and get that burger because you're going to be like, chemically, it has a lot of different compounds in it, but it give me a lot of dopamines at the same time. Do you see what I'm saying? So people can use chemical compounds as an addiction. That's what you have to understand, okay? Because what happens is if you can't control what type of chemicals that you're intaking, then those chemical compounds can actually overtake the hardware of the vessel and the mind because you're installing. When you're installing, you're receiving. When you're receiving, you're holding. When you're holding, you're projecting. And you can only project what's inside of you. It's not the projection of what we've been taught. It's on the outside of us. It's this. No, everything's within and it's a projection on the outside. But like I had said again, when it comes to this world that we are in, 5% of people are stalled with information and data that is natural. So they can understand what I'm saying. 95% of people are installed with artificial information and data. And it's based on how they were taught when they were children. Go ask somebody, can I ask you a question? How old are you? About 55. Can I ask you a question? What are you eating? I'm just eating food. What you have to understand is that from the third dimension, that's how they've been taught, okay? So when you have that going on, the person can only understand things from the third dimensional way because they have only been told a third dimensional way, which is a word and with a meaning. Not going past that and saying, hold on, where did this naturally come from? Did this naturally come from the informational sources of Mother Nature, or was this made in a lab? Thank you. Now, once you reroute your mind like that, right, where your search engine, always understand that technology of the mind is one of the original search engines, okay? So what you have to understand is if you say consciously like, hold on, bro, I don't want my mind just searching for food. I want my mind to be searching for information and data that's aligned with my vitamin code system and mineral code system. You just said that consciously, right? What you have to understand, the technology of ear, right, is also connected to the mind too. They share information and data too. Why is it that when you hear something, you can remember what you heard? Thank you. Say something. Everything red. Everything red. Thank you. You see what I'm saying? So the ear has connection to the mind too, because you can remember what you just said and you can repeat it. You understand what I'm saying? So what you have to understand consciously is that if the ear is connected to the mind, right, then what you have to understand with yourself is that when you go into, how can I say, recorrection with your mind, some people call it speaking to yourself. I'm not going to say it's not that, but I like to enlighten things a little bit more. To me, in the other way, you are speaking to yourself, but when the point of speaking to yourself, you're reprogramming. Some people forgot about that. And you can never forget about that because someone had to program you in order to work at where you're working at, right? Someone had to teach you that. Someone had to program you to do that, right? So your mind is still open and towards programming. It's just that you haven't had a good habit of using self-programming. Thank you. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I say again, it's like we do this sometimes. We'll be doing something and we'll be like, yo, I just put this down. How I forget where I just put it at? Pay attention to this. Pick it back up. Now watch this. Don't even pick it up, my bad. Watch this. Say to yourself consciously, where did I put it at? Where was the last place that I put my keys? Now watch when the mind goes search. And why the mind put you exactly where it was. You think you just walked into those keys, didn't you? What I just seen was literally you command a pair of keys be found. And the technology of your conscious directed you right there based on what you commanded your reality. I do it all the time. That's why I say I never lose anything, because guess what happens? Myself always bring it back to me. I'll purposely throw something somewhere, bro. Not even look. And I'll be like, yeah, where I just put that at? And bro, I literally get directed right there, bro. So it's like how we use our conscious. We would literally be like, being real with you. You know how many people done lost keys? And all they had to do is say consciously, like, where was the last location that I put my keys at? And out of nowhere, you still in search mode. But when you say that, the keys appear right there. See what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't understand that consciously. You know what I'm saying? Myself, I'm gonna be honest with you. I be feeling like sometimes myself be like hiding shit from you sometimes on purpose for a better purpose of consciousness though. And I'm gonna show you what I mean. Sometimes I'll be looking for something. I'll be like, yo, why I can't find such and such? I know it's around here. And then I'll say consciously, I'll be like, yeah, where's my tablet at? And out of nowhere, my tablet appeared right here out of nowhere. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'll be like, where my Knuckles backpack? And then I'll find it. I'll be like, yo, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? That's right. It's just like, damn, that's something different. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, but yeah, I wanted to pretty much like leave y'all with that, or whatever the case may be. I know y'all be like, yeah, this I ain't gonna lie, bro. This is what we like to hear right here. I know. This is what they like to hear. Yeah, they like this. This is what they like right here. They like this one right here. Just, oh my gosh. Woo.
But y'all may be friends on a social media platform. You can talk to the lady there instead of saying hi in person. This is the world that we live in. And that's crazy. How much things have changed. And they seem to not even get no better. I think it's gonna get worse. And you see how we live it now? Just imagine what life is gonna be in the next 30 years. And the cost of living is so expensive. It just don't make no sense. And then AI, they taking all your jobs. And half of the time, when you call in customer service for any company, you majority speaking to AI. You're not even speaking to a person anymore. And then on top of that, you go to the drive-thru to get you a meal. I don't know what's your favorite restaurant, but you know what I'm talking about. Half of the time, they want you to do AI. And then you frustrated because AI can't get your order right. And this is the sad times in the world that we're living in. And that's why reality is starting to look like an illusion. Your reality just changed and flipped the script on you out of nowhere. And that's why you're more surprised than ever. But you've been surprised for so long, you're starting to get numb to the situation. You used to be like, you never thought you would see the day. But now, it's just like a normal day. But like I always say, what's considered?
I want to say to the individual with the comment down there of what you had said, I want to let you know that the image that's in front of you doesn't understand your interpretation of what you were saying. I want to let you know that I'm not from the same community as you, so I don't really know what you're requesting me to do, right? From my culture, my hairstyle is not if you're referring to my hairstyle, these are not dreads. These are not even locks as well. Okay? Have a nice day, all right? All right.
Well, nothing seems to be normal. And that's why it's sad. Just ask yourself, have you ever sat down and thought about what life would be like? Would it be flying cars? Everything is just so caught up on social media. People validating views and likes instead of real life views and likes. And that's where it's getting out of hand. Because it's a time and place for things. But I guess people forgotten that. And people are still going to do what they're going to do. Even though situations is not logical. Everybody's talking to a ChatGPT. And that's the sad part. And that's my take on the situation. Let me know how y'all feel about this. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Peace.
Bro be having some nice shit. He do. You know, as we get, some people say that, you know, reality don't feel real to them, and, you know, a lot of things ain't gonna feel real. I'll tell you that. What it is for the chosen ones, they have already went through these experiences before. So when they listen to them, they're just looking at the people like, oh, y'all finally got your update. Y'all gonna be okay. But for the chosen ones, pretty much, we have already went through this already. The difference was everybody caught us crazy while we was going through it. Now collectively, everyone's going through it. And this is why I say consciously we should all understand that we are all connected some type of way. And everybody should be very careful how they treat themselves. Because the chosen ones is like, you just going through this? Like, yeah, and I don't know what to do. The chosen ones pretty much, in other words, I know that some people may not like this, but based on the experiences that they have went through, you can't expect them to help you in your situation that you're in. The reason why that is most likely minds or minds that are high vibrational. Majority of human beings treat them like they're less when they're more. So what happens was guidance did come. But as a student, right, you may do certain things where the teacher may not want to teach you. You know what I'm saying? The teacher look at it like you have free will. You can teach yourself. Sometimes we are going to be going through a shift where some people would say, those people that we said we didn't need and throw to the side, we really need them in this time. And what you have to understand consciously is the things that they have went through with you. Now you look at yourself in the mirror with all that self-disrespect, and you ask yourself, would you have the power to teach you? You understand what I'm saying? Another thing about the chosen ones is they seem to go through experiences that are very identical to, some movies. Like the X-Men. It's watching the X-Men and just reminiscing on some memories and just sitting there watching how humans treat a higher conscious. Not because the higher conscious did something to it, just that human beings are afraid of themselves. And the mutants were being mistreated by humans. The humans don't have no superpowers. The mutants do, though. And so the humans were afraid of them, even though the mutants didn't do nothing to them. They were just naturally born that way. So I started to understand with the human intelligence, it becomes afraid of anything that's outside of the third dimensional program. That's what happened. Majority of those superheroes that you say are superheroes are just mutants. Can I ask you a question? Was Christ a mutant? You would simply say no, but Christ wasn't a man. Man can't depart the sea. Man can't turn people back from dead back to life. He can't do that yet. So can I ask you a question? Was Christ a mutant? Because he had superpowers just like those people that you call an X-Men. And he was crucified based on who he was. So, just want to say this to the human race as a whole. How are you ever going to evolve if the studies as a human is to cut yourself down in order to cut others down? How are you going to evolve if you keep cutting down the upgrade? You know what happens, right? You know what happens when that happens, right? It's what's happening now. We all is being pushed away from something. And when we get pushed away, certain things start happening. You know what I'm saying? So, people, I would say humans as a whole, be polite in who you treat. Because you don't know who you stand next to. We don't appear the way we actually appear. We don't. So, pay attention. If people are understanding that fakeality seems to be fake, the stimulation that we are in seems to be fake. Can I ask you a question? Do we appear fake? Do the technology of the eyes reach enlightenment in order to view things truthfully? What happened if I started looking like something else? See, this shit get deep. It get deep. It start off a little bit right here and then start going off. Start going into other things. You understand? The things that you have seen in movies that are identical to maybe even Star Trek. You would think that all those people are fake, don't you? I know. when the technology of your mind and body is only installed with the information and data of the third dimension, the third dimension is the only thing that's installed in you, which means that you don't have access to higher dimensions. So how I'm looking at it is pretty much you would keep your stuff stuck there. Even Michael Jackson knew that, yeah, a lot of that stuff in Star Trek is definitely true. Because little do you know, Michael Jackson, he had him a nice spacecraft as well. You can find it in a movie, an older movie. He's sitting right there inside of a spacecraft, flying it around with different things that you can find from Star Trek. I know he ain't did that for no reason. You think that's just a movie? He just did that for no reason. And we all know that Michael is a star. We can look in his eyes and know, like, nah, that's a star for real. That's a real star right there. Who don't love Michael? Everybody love Michael. Who don't love Michael? I love Michael. Shit. He left a good body of work on this earth, though. But how people did him? How humans did Michael. They've been trying to destroy Michael since he was born. Anyone can see that. Try to destroy his looks, his character. Michael went through some shit. I can look at that shit, and I can tell he done went through some shit. Yeah, like, see, I'm gonna say a thing about Michael. We all kind of do this as ancestors. One thing about certain ancestors, when you see an ancestor, right, and you can tell that they are very knowledgeable, those are the ones that went through a lot of shit, okay? And it doesn't look like they went through anything because they appear very young, right? And the way they appear, you'll be like, this motherfucker look like he ain't went through nothing. The thing is, they didn't allow the experience to override them. Sometimes people's experiences can age them out. You understand what I'm saying? And so for certain ancestors, they didn't allow that to happen to them. But when you listen to them and how they speak, you can understand that they have went through a lot. Based on how they speak, you will understand that. Not based on me looking down in the dumps. Thank you. That's not what a great ancestor do to itself. It understands that it's going to go through hard times, but baby, it's like a TV screen, baby. Word, this shit going to go by for a couple of minutes. Next minute, it's out of there. You understand the tech, okay? So, with that being said, or whatever the case may be, that's what happens in this world. We all may not age the same way based on how we handle our experiences. If you allow experience to stress you, here come them gray hairs, baby. See what I'm saying? They still ID me at the store, bro. But that just let me know I must be doing something right with myself, okay? It don't never make me upset. I had to reprogram, like, why am I getting upset that I'm getting ID? That let me know that I'm still intact. Thank you. Thank you. I thank you for that compliment, bro. He was like, what? Now you compliment me by IDing me, bro. I still look young. Tell me the truth. I still look like a little kid. Like, you do. You look like a little kid at this. That's why I'm IDing you, shit. Then they look at the ID, they like, I'll never ID you again. I know. I know. I had my days where I put on certain things and you'd be like, you going to college, ain't you? Like, mm-hmm. They think I'm going to college. Anyways, right? Y'all pay attention to the hardware, y'all vessels, hardware, your mind, hardware, your heart. You know. Put some new updates in there, new software in there. You know what I'm saying? So you can project a better reality than the reality that you got. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I wanted to leave y'all with that message right there. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all like, damn, bro. You be talking, but damn, you really been you talking to us today. I be bullying, bro. Trying to understand this life. You know what I'm saying? Some always here. I know some of y'all like, bro, we've been eating this for a minute. I understand. What you have to understand is that I'm going through something. So the teacher herself is always here. That's who you just heard from. Now, myself, that's the self that's like, it's going through things in life. It like to speak about things. It like to break those things down. That's also another teacher too. But a lot of people, they don't look at it as a teacher. They look at it as, oh, that's just the one that's either complaining about his experiences or that's the first person. And it's like, no, that one is actually a teacher as well too. You just want the highest form of the teacher. That's the thing. And a lot of people kind of got stuck with that with me, where we want the highest form of the teacher. And it's like, well, the teacher actually has other teachers with them. You understand? And certain teachers pop out. Okay? And you have a teacher where basically it does real studies. It will literally go into reality, go into experience, and then break it down consciously, everything that happened. And those experiences are valued because those are the same experiences that the chosen ones are going through collectively. What I would say to the chosen ones is simply as this battle that we are going through is already won. It's not a battle at all. The reason why I say it's not a battle is because you have a system, right? The system wants to project certain things within you in order to access the technology of your mind, in order to control it. Pay attention to the setup in front of you. Some people have changed the informational sources of what they install, what they eat, what they digest. Okay? And what they start to understand consciously is that if I uninstall the information and data from a past world or artificial world, then pretty much the system can't access my mind because I'm not putting systematic information and data in the hardware of my vessel or mind. When you say the system also comes with a food source in order to install you into the system. You understand? So, consciously, right? When you are being uninstalled from the system, what happens is your conscious is pulling away from an old dimension. And some people would say, it's like things are not even real in front of me. What's starting to happen is the information and data that your body used to hold is wiping it out. So it's wiping out the false information and data within you, which is wiping out the false perception. It's wiping out the false fakeality that you used to be in, that you thought was reality. See? And so some people are going to feel like, bro, like, what's going on? Like, the energy, like, what's going on, bro? And what's happening before us is that we're being shifted, pulled away, but more importantly, uninstalled from the past world. That's what's happening. Now, don't get me wrong. It is very expensive to be in the past world right now. It is. You see them grocery prices? You want to pay all that to be in there? Don't get me wrong, you can. I'm not saying you can't, okay? But what you have to understand consciously is that when it comes to the hardware of this vessel, right, the things that we eat is the software. And the information and data of the software that we eat, that we install, right? We're literally going through a change, okay? Even when it comes to produce. Little do you know they're not going to tell you this, but what you have to understand is that the sun is becoming so-called hotter. That's what they say, right? Now, when the sun becomes hotter, that's not what's really going on. That's not what's going on. They're teaching you in an upside down way. It's not that the sun is getting hot. The sun is always hot, baby. It's always hot. What you have to understand is that the sun has a certain ability that man has not taught you about. Man has not taught you that the sun, right, has its own energy vortex and can pull other consciousness that you think are planets to it. And man has taught you pretty much that asteroids have hit the earth. That boy make me laugh when he teaching you. Let me show you something a little bit better. Let's say you take two magnets, right? You put a magnet to the left, you put a magnet to the right. But you take the magnet from the right, right? And you start pulling it into the right direction, right? The magnet that's on the left is following that direction. Can I ask you a question? If you put anything in front of the left magnet and the right magnet is controlling the left magnet, does the left magnet smack into anything that you put in front of it? I'll say it one more time. You have two magnets, one to the left, one to the right. You pull the right one, and it moves the left one to the same direction. Now you put something in front of the left magnet. Will that left magnet smack into that object? You have no choice but to say yes. That's what will happen. Pay attention to the setup that's in front of you. Let's say I take two cars. I put a chain underneath one of them. I use the other car to pull it. But there's a rock in front of the car that's behind me. What you think is going to happen? It's going to smack into it, bro. I'm just showing you from different dimensions what's really going on here. Okay? Now, let's get up in here to the skies real quick. Everybody like to talk about the dome, all that. Right? Now, don't get me wrong. Some people say that we live in a dome. Right? What mankind didn't want to tell you within that dome, right? There is technology upon this planet, right, that can go past, let's say you see your sky up there, right? Most people call that a dome. That's what most people call. But man didn't tell you that the technology that's around you, right, how is it that we inside of a dome and the sun inside here with us? How did the sun get in here? You think they would create a dome and then encapsulate the sun with the earth? They do solar eclipses, so that would basically keep it away. Thank you. But how did the sun get inside the dome? How is that? How did UFOs get inside the dome? How is that? You build us a CGI sky, right? That looks very identical to a fucking camera. You put it above us and you call it a sky, right? But how did UFOs get in there? How they get in? That's like me putting this, look, bro. You see this right here? You see how this got a cap? That's like me putting a cap on top of this, right? And then it's like, yeah, I put the cap on there. It's going to keep everything out. But it didn't keep nothing out because there's sun in there. How did the sun get in here? how UFOs get in here. There's something that man is not telling humanity as a whole. You're not telling us how the sun got inside of here, because obviously anyone can see that if you're trying to put something over something, you're trying to keep something out. Thank you. It's just as I got a cap over this stuff, and it's in order to keep the air out. And if it's too much air hit this, it just dries up, so I can't use it no more. Do you see it? So what I'm saying to you is that if you supposedly, right, man, if you supposedly built this CGI sky, right, that is very identical to a dome, right? It's like this. You know how you look up at the sky? I'm gonna show you this shit. You know how you look up, let's see, like right now. You see how I'm looking up at the ceiling? Right now, right? And I can go touch the shit, right? What I'm saying is with the sky, why does it look like a misty blue cloud? Why is that? Why can't you see it like this? Why it gotta look like a mystery? Why is that? Why I can't see it for what it is? Why it look like the sky hiding itself? Sky not supposed to hide itself. It's not supposed to cloak itself with a certain color so I can't see it. Thank you. That's not normal. That's programming in order to make it normal. So if I take 95% of people, get them an artificial reality based on the information and data of artificial ingredients, install it to the hardware of their vessels, install it to the hardware of their mind, how they gonna know the difference what the sky is? Thank you. How they gonna know the difference? How? If you install them into an artificial reality anyway, how they gonna know the difference? They not gonna know the difference, bro. Because it's all technology. And if technology can't keep up, then they would never know consciously. So this is why when it comes towards the sky, even with each other, we have a debate because we are literally in two different dimensions at one time based on the information and data and the dimensions that you install in your mind, literally. You see what I'm saying? So it's like we are literally like, I always say this all the time, and I know this makes some people afraid, but I'm not trying to make nobody afraid or fear them. It's just that some people, right? Some people, when they say, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave this shit alone, but some people say that some people don't appear to be real, right? And I understand exactly what they're talking about. Some people that are in front of you could be literally programs that are installed within your consciousness that are nothing more than holograms. Some people are not real. Some people are just holograms upon the earth. Everybody is not really here upon the earth. This is why you can't have conversations with certain people because they're not real. You can't take them home. They don't even have a home. You think they do. You think that person's real because they're driving that car next to you. That person ain't real. You notice when you a real one, you notice with all the people around you, like, yo, bro, hold on, pay attention to setups. Yo, well, why is it really like I can't have a conversation with people? Motherfuckers don't really, what the fuck? I ain't never even took no, what the fuck going on? Right. Certain shit become completely off where you like, bro, this can't be normal, bruh. Nah, this can't be normal, bro. Now I'm gonna show you something, and it's really only for the chosen ones. I'm gonna go into it. Hopefully you catch it, okay? The power of memory is a key in this world right here, okay? Pay attention to things so you can understand the system that's around you, okay? In 2025, right, I was robbed of my cell phone and certain belongings. In 2026, a cell phone of mine came up stolen. Pay attention. In 2025, I was robbed. Okay? Someone took my cell phone, all that. A couple of people, swung at me, tried to beat me down to the ground. Don't feel bad for me. I'm gonna be all right. Now, I was robbed, right? 2026 come around, right? Same thing. A police officer stole my cell phone. Can I ask you a question? Why is it that those same two things happen in the same month? "2025 this happened, 2026 this happened again." Why would something like that reoccur again? Anyone would tell you, hold on. You got robbed in 25 and the police steal your phone in 2026 in the same month? Yeah. That's normal, isn't it? That's normal, isn't it? Anyone can see, no, this has got to be a system, bro. That's not normal. This got to be a system. And if you don't have your memory, you wouldn't even understand that this is like a complete cycle of what certain ones are going through. Humans are not experiencing this. They're with the system. When it comes to the ones, these are the things that they're going through repeatedly. So what's starting to happen with the system is the system feel as though for the ones that have been liberated, they feel as though we put them in a repeated cycle of what they used to go through. Hold on, let's rephrase that. Not even what they used to go through in the system because they was in the system. The system was able to use their powers as their minds, right? And so, of course, the system is not going to be harsh on you because it's able to use you. Thank you. The minute you pulled yourself out of the system, right, this is where the system shows its true colors. The system is now programmed to look at you as an enemy. You're not an enemy, though, because you're not an enemy of yourself. The system is an enemy of itself. Thank you. Okay? So, what you have to understand is hold on to your memory. Please, 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 if you can, month by month, please write out the things that you have experienced, no matter if they're bad or good. And then when the next year come by, from month to month, see if any of those stories play out in your life again. Thank you. What's happening that we understand consciously is that some people would say, is it you that's doing it? And I would simply say, let's pay attention. Was I the body to get up, right? And it's still my own cell phone. Was I the bodies to get up to actually beat me up, make me fall down? Nah, that's not what I'm doing. I'm the one that's going through that experience, but I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So how I looked at it was there's a system that's afraid of what's going on today. And the system wants to hide behind the minds that it was once controlling. Because it feels as though if I use these minds, I can pretty much fight what's coming. In all reality, the system is not gaining any ground with those minds, even by giving them a false reality that they have been through. Yeah, the system is working overtime, but the ones are working overtime because they're not given access to their minds. And the system is very afraid of what they're doing collectively. The system is afraid of us. We didn't do anything. We just said, fuck the system. We want to live our life. Instead of the system saying, fuck it. They off on their own. Let them do what the fuck they want to do. The system from 2020 all the way up until now, it's a reason why we in the 6 right now. Okay? It's a reason why we in the 6. Okay? Because now we go into the 7th and the 8th and the 9th, and we don't know what happens in the 9th. We don't know. All we can do is watch collectively in order to stand. And some people want to say that maybe we are in the 6th dimension. You possibly could if you're installed with it and understand what it is. You could be in the 7th dimension, 8th dimension, 9th dimension, depending on what type of conscious you are operating in, what type of, vibration you are operating in, what type of information and data that the technology of your mind is searching for. You understand what I'm saying? So with that being said, or whatever the case may be, you have to understand consciously that, how can I say this in simple terms? Give me a second. Someone said, that is strange. Same month, you was at a cookout in 2025. Thank you. See, they remember. You was at a cookout 2025. Remember, I was invited to that cookout by the people that robbed me. Damn. Summertime. And then that happens in summer in 2026. And what's happening is the system, I'm gonna say this one time because I know what I'm talking about. One time I was sitting here and I was just laying down, kind of just, just getting up. But this one time, it's like I could see my body. Everything was dark, and there was nothing wrong with the darkness at all. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But then I seen this light get projected literally to my body. And I want to say it could be possibly my light body, to be honest. Because whatever that was sent to me, I knew what was going on in that moment. What I felt was, and I'm not speaking this into existence, self. I'm only speaking about the experience. That's it. But what I felt in that situation was like something wanted me to be homeless, destituted, like fucked up. And I sat there for a second. I got up and I was like, I'm not holding on to this shit. Fuck this shit. No. But ever since that day, everything been playing a certain type of way that I'm like, damn. It's like the things that I felt, and it wasn't a dream, bro. It was like something was sent to me, and then I felt the shit, and I'm like, I don't want to feel like this. Hell no. Hell no. Destroy that shit. I don't want to feel like that. No. But then I got up, woke up for a second, and I'm like, the feeling that happened, I'm like, it's like I must have destroyed the feeling, because when the action come into play, I don't even feel no way about this shit. I just don't. It's like, I always told myself, like, I don't want to feel of this world, because it just consists of pain, agony, and misery. And if I'm not creating it, then I don't want to feel that shit. Hell nah. Hell nah, I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? So, from that standpoint until now, I started to understand with myself, like, you know what? These issues were sent to me. Yeah, I caught it right here when I was laying down, bro. They be sending us issues through our dreams, bro. And we thought that these issues was real. They was never real, bro. That shit was fake. I seen it get sent to me. I didn't know about that. I thought, we just go in rest mode, we do what we do, we rise back on our feet, not realizing technologically, right, They're trying to hack people's dream systems, bro. You know the Tower of Babel that I speak about all the time? How I said there should never be a tower built within the heavens? Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. Heaven to me is your own dreams, bro. I know what they're gonna tell you. They're gonna tell you heaven got the marble floors, baby. It got the gold dripping and all that. I understand that, bro. That's something that you can build up and work on today. I understand that. But my heaven was today and now. My heaven was my consciousness. What I can create, what I can design, what I can become. That was my form of heaven. I know for others, your form of heaven may be different from mine, but to me, that's heaven. And the reason why I say that's heaven is because when you're within heaven, baby, you know you can create whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I look at things is that, you know, heaven to me is a part of creativity. Your mind is liberated in order to create something for yourself. And whatever you want to do with it, other people gravitate towards it. You know why that is, right? Everybody gravitate towards what? Self. Everybody don't understand they gravitate towards the sun too. Understand what I'm saying? They might be underneath that moon energy, but they're going to understand today. You understand? So, you know, they are attacking us in our dream systems. I didn't know it was this deep. I didn't know. You understand? Like, I'm intelligent, but certain shit I ain't know about. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, what I would say to the system is that it seems like the system is panicking because if you can attack me through my dreams, I would say to myself, whatever that's giving them access to it, please disconnect me from it. Damn. That's the only thing I can say to that. Obviously, we must be disconnected from this machine shit. They gotta attack you while you sleeping, baby. Why can't attack you while you standing up? That lets you know how weak the system is. They gotta wait till you go to sleep consciously just to try to upload something to the hardware of your mind. Your thoughts when you wake up. The system, I literally would tell you, is the weakest system I ever fought, bro. I done fought many wars, and this was the most easiest war for me because I'm a psychological being. This is a psychological world, so this world was kind of easy to master. It was. That's why I kind of got bored with this system, because I'm like, what abilities does it have to do to fight? Oh, I'm going to try to infiltrate your mind. Okay, so if I don't allow you to infiltrate the mind, then the system falls down. Thank you. And what has happened collectively is that the system doesn't have any power without using the power of the supernatural ones. I said that in front of you. I don't care today. I just don't. Tired of fucking hiding. I remember one time I was in a dream. And I was looking at myself. I'm like, why the fuck am I running? Wait, hop the fuck in there? Boy, fuck all this shit up. I'm looking at myself like, why you running? You don't run. You fuck everything up, bro. Like, oh, shit. Yeah, what's wrong with you, twin? Twin! What? You gonna be having my motherfucking avatars running around and shit. Fuck wrong with you? This world is wicked. They be attacking us in our fucking dreams, bro. We sitting here like, yeah, let me, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to get loaded up. What? System be like, attack that motherfucker. Load that motherfucker out of his dream. You ever, bro, I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you something. I know something going on in this motherfucker. Bro, you know how you be in a dream for a split second and you be like, yo, bro, I'm in there. Oh shit. Then out of nowhere, you happen to move, or you get woken up out the motherfucking dream out of nowhere and shit. Bullshit. Yeah, it's some bullshit. That shit, that don't be letting that shit just go by. Like, oh no, that's just normal. You know what I'm saying? Just that shit not normal. That shit not normal. Bro, I remember I used to have a dream, and I used to be in a dream for, bro, I'm talking about I can't even count. I can't even count. Now, it seemed like they trying to limit our motherfucking dreams. They like, you been there for a second? Get the fuck out. Like, what the fuck? Oh yeah, y'all gonna get your asses torn out the fucking frame. Y'all is. Y'all infiltrating people's dreams while they sleeping, bro? So y'all pretty much is altering the reality of these minds. So how is this a real reality if you already setting up the reality while they sleeping? Yeah, y'all got, boy, I'm gonna tell y'all, boy, the things that y'all did upon this earth, boy, that sun gonna burn the fuck out y'all. I'm trying to tell you motherfuckers. This is not the time to be trying to infiltrate the sun, infiltrate the chosen ones. This ain't the motherfucking time right now, because these chosen ones got supernatural abilities that's gonna fuck over this whole motherfucking world as a whole, bro. And they not gonna give a fuck. You know why? Because guess what? When them DNA data caps that y'all put on site their DNA in order to keep the technology of their superpowers down, like we don't fucking know, right? Them data caps that y'all put on their DNA, them shits is starting to melt off like the ice walls. Setups. This is why they panicking right here, chosen ones. I'm gonna tell you this. I've been sitting on this information for a minute, bro. I just been sitting back here for months, just been bulling. Now you getting this upgrade right here. They is afraid of you supernatural ones that can control the technology of your mind, that can bend shit to your will, bend motherfuckers, have conversations in your motherfucking head, project this shit to the next motherfucker. They is afraid of them motherfuckers. Do you know these motherfuckers so powerful, bro? You can get a rocket launcher, bro, and you will literally be like, put the nigga in it right here. You'll try, bro. They'll literally take the whole shit like it's nothing, bro. This was on this planet, bro. They don't want to tell y'all this, and bro, I've been sitting back with this information, not saying nothing for months, bro. I mean, months at a time. Like, I ain't even gonna say nothing right now. Like, bro, I can't say nothing right now. I could say it, but not right now. Like, not right now. I'm gonna show you when the best time to hit it. I'm gonna show you. You see the sun? You see all this shit they getting hit with? Now tell them this. Now it's gonna all make sense and resonate. Like, hold on, stop. The sun is actually pulling the earth a little bit closer. Why is the sun doing this? Huh? Why is it doing that? Yeah, you people is in trouble. A lot of ass whoopings on this end, ain't it? Uh-huh. Get whatever guns y'all got, high power rifles, where the fuck you want. When number 47 leaves out, he's gonna leave y'all with a specific fucking message. Okay? I keep telling you number 47 is not what you think he is. Yeah, keep thinking number 47 is what you think. Mr. 47 is not what you think he is. So, this world right here will tell you the system think it's still in control, right? this shit funny, ain't it? This shit funny to watch, ain't it? Well, they can't. The system can't ask for mercy. Yeah, because let's pay attention. Data points. Remember in 2020? Remember in 2020, right? Pay attention. Remember in 2020, right? Some people, a lot of people in America, they was open to information and data. Remember that? Remember them days? It was a short period, short window, right? Then about 2022 came in, people went right back to the motherfucking system, bro. Word, I could see what the technology demands. I'm like, hold on, bro. I remember when I was on TikTok. This when TikTok kind of was just really hitting the scene. You know what I'm saying? I'm on there, and I ain't gonna lie, the people was vibing with the information. They was vibing with it like it's nothing. Then, about time wintertime came, the people, fuck you, this, that, and the third, you fucking crazy, and such. I'm like, excuse me. What happened to my audience? Look like your audience done checked back into that system. What you mean? What system is you talking about? You'll figure it out. You'll be all right. You'll see what I'm talking about. See that other thing up there? That's a system too. And them hologram systems. And then the system they try to install in your mind. Fuck you mean? You gonna be okay. But yeah. This world gonna be seeing a whole bunch of people that they even call superheroes. Ain't that some shit? Just know, I'm gonna say this one time and one time only. Do not look for me to be a fucking superhero, okay? I'm not with none of that. I told you when I come through, right, very identical to Apocalypse, very identical towards, who else? My other twins, Apocalypse, who else? It's a couple of my twins. Always know when we come in here to fuck shit up. We ain't coming here to be on some, oh, we love you human beings. Y'all got the best heart ever. Y'all come on with us. A lot of people be thinking in their head like, I expected you to be like one of them. Hell no. That is not in my character. I come through like Apocalypse. I come through like many of different villains. Okay? I don't come to hurt all, but all that want to hurt us. Damn. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, at least you know we here. You got Jordan in here too. Mm-hmm. Bro said, it's been a minute since I tapped into your live broadcasting. I'm going to be honest with you, bro, right? I've been on live, right? But it's been a minute since I tapped in. It's been a minute since I just been watching. I told you I'd let y'all talk to my other teacher self. That teacher of self is literally like, okay, I go through experiences, you know what I'm saying? This happened, this is that third, such. But then the other one come back and be like, let me see what they on. Y'all on this? Do. Let me see. Oh shit, they own that. Let me see that right there. Do. Oh, they own that. There you go. Sometimes what happens is, I know y'all be wanting my highest self of teaching. I understand that. But sometimes what happens is the consciousnesses that are around you are not registered just yet. And so once they become registered, that's when I come back out and be like, all right, little upgrade right here, dude. You good? Like, I mean, at least I'm still trying. You know what I'm saying? You can't say I ain't doing my part, all right? All right. And I know they be sitting back there like, yo, where the fuck bro at, bro? Bro, where you at? I know you in there. That shit be funny as fuck. That shit be so funny. Like, I know he in there. No, ask him this. Ask him this. Now ask him this. There you go. Motherfucker be sitting back there the whole time just bullying. Like, let me see real quick. No. Put this one right here. There you go. Let them see that. There you go. Right there. They fucking with it? Let me see. Nah, they fucking with it. They like that too. Okay, no problem. Let me come back over here right here. Y'all, what's up? What's up with it? What's happening with it? What's up? No, stop. What's up with the technology about this? What's bracking? Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the one right there. See what I'm saying? Y'all got to stop doing that because I'll literally sit in the background, right, on purpose and allow the other teacher to teach too. Right. It's levels to this. I can't keep just going with the most highest level of teaching. I can't just keep doing, I mean, I can. I'm not, you know what? I'm not going to say I can't. I can, right? But what happens is with the teaching, I start to understand that, hey, let's go to this dimension. Let's teach this real quick. All right, now let's go all the way back up here. You see what I'm saying? Because what happens is I start to understand that a lot of people, they not on the same frequency that everybody else on in order to understand it. So I'll break it down from the third dimension and then that bring it all the way back up so you can actually understand. You see what I'm saying? Remember, I had told you, a lot of people are installed with third dimensional information and data, so their intelligence only operate off of that. You see what I'm saying? With that being said, right, this your ancestor General White God signing over and out. Y'all have a great one.